morning, the entire planet Earth went silent. No messages, no broadcasts, no trace of humanity left behind. Just a whisper across the galaxy. Don't worry. Watch this. As panic spreads and a rescue fleet races toward the blue planet, they uncover a secret so vast it could change the fate of every intelligent species forever. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and show some love by giving this video a thumbs up. Now let's dive into this incredible story of mystery, evolution, and the boldest move humanity has ever made. Far out on the edge of the Milky Way, where the stars looked like pinpricks in an endless dark curtain, there was a small listening station no bigger than a convenience store. It was quiet there, always quiet, and the only sounds were the soft hum of machines and the occasional sigh of Neron, the alien in charge of the station. He had soft green skin, large eyes that blinked slowly, and a habit of naming things after Earth objects, because he liked the way Earth spoke in symbols and stories. Neron sat in his chair, watching the steady dance of signals from all over the galaxy. Most came and went with little change. Trade pings from Jupiter's moons, lazy weather scans from Venus, entertainment blasts from Mars. But today something was off. The usual storm of signals from Earth had vanished, not faded, not changed. Just stopped. The screen that once glowed with hundreds of feeds, TV shows, music, digital chatter, now showed only static. He frowned and tapped the console. Strange, he muttered. Maybe the receiver was malfunctioning. He ran diagnostics, everything checked out. The equipment was working perfectly. Earth, however, had gone silent. He ran the test again, hoping he missed something. Still nothing. After one more check, Neron opened a comm line to his supervisor. It wasn't every day that an entire planet fell quiet, especially one as loud and restless as Earth. Within a few hours, the silence became the galaxy's loudest whisper. News of Earth's silence spread fast. It reached the inner systems. Then, the trade routes, and finally the central core of the Galactic Union. The same message played everywhere. No transmissions from Earth, all channels quiet. No error detected. On the lush planet of Norathi, where the Galactic Council held its meetings in a crystal-domed chamber that floated gently above turquoise seas, an emergency session was called. Hundreds of beings arrived, some tall and shimmering, some small and furry, some who communicated through flashes of light instead of words. They buzzed with confusion and concern. For over 20 years, Earth had been the wild card in the Union. In that short time, humans had become known not just for their innovation, but for their unpredictable way of solving problems. One delegate remembered how humans had once stopped a galactic virus with vinegar and frozen fruit. Another recalled Earth's first contact, where humans had sent hours of cat videos into deep space. It had taken the council 3 whole days to realize those weren't prayers or military threats, they were just pets doing silly things. The council leader, a tall creature named Varan, stood and raised his arms for silence. 6 hours ago, he said, Earth's transmissions ceased. There are no signs of warfare, no solar flares, no black hole interference. It is as if they all simply chose to stop. A ripple of concern moved through the chamber. One ambassador, a soft-spoken scholar, named Irel, stood. We remember what happened on Velor 9. Silence meant extinction. We cannot risk the same with Earth. Another added, what about Mars? The moon bases, are they still active? No answers, Varan replied. No comms, no distress calls, nothing. Still, one voice in the back suggested a different view. A veteran observer named Dren, who had monitored Earth for decades, leaned close to his assistant and whispered, I'll wager 20 credits they did it on purpose. His assistant blinked. Why would a civilization make itself go quiet on purpose? Dren smiled. Because they're human. They never do things the easy way. You remember when we gave them teleportation tech? Instead of using it for travel, they invented a game called Quantum Hide and Seek. Laughter bubbled in parts of the room, but it couldn't drown out the fear. No one liked the unknown, and nothing was more unknown than Earth right now. Far from the council, on a quiet, Observation deck orbiting a moon near the galactic core, two junior diplomats stared at a live feed of Earth. The planet looked calm. Too calm. The city still glowed at night. Oceans still shimmered under the sun. Satellites still orbited. But the airwaves were dead. One diplomat, a young analyst named Tovi, broke the silence. Should we be worried? His colleague, an older researcher, named Mackle, didn't answer right away. He stared at the screen, thinking about all the strange and brilliant things humans had done in the past. He remembered the time Earth's engineers built an engine that ran on leftover spaghetti, just to see if they could. Finally, Mackle spoke. You know the saying. It's the quiet ones you should watch out for. Tovi nodded slowly. And Earth is very, very quiet. In the council chamber, just as the meeting reached its tensest moment, a soft beep sounded from Varan's personal console. He looked down. A transmission had been logged just seconds before Earth went silent. He opened the file. It contained only 4 words. Don't worry, watch this. The council fell silent once more. And somewhere in the shadows of deep space, the first ship of a newly assembled rescue fleet powered up its engines, preparing for the long jump toward the quiet blue world that had never once stopped surprising them. The rescue fleet moved like a silver wave through the stars, 50 ships in perfect formation, all heading toward one place: Earth. In the lead ship, along an elegant vessel named the Sundiver, stood Commander Vale. He was older than most of his crew, with deep gray skin, calm eyes, and a reputation for keeping his head in a crisis. Vael had seen many strange things in his years: exploding moons, disappearing planets, even a solar system that had turned itself inside out. But Earth's sudden silence unsettled him in a way he couldn't explain. The galaxy couldn't afford to lose Earth. Humanity had become too important too quickly. They weren't the strongest or the most advanced, but they thought differently. Where others saw walls, humans saw shortcuts. They turned mistakes into inventions and accidents into art. No one could ever predict what they would do next, and now, after 2 decades of endless signals and noise, they were completely silent. Vael stood on the bridge of the Sundiver, watching the stars blur past as they moved at faster-than-light speed. His second-in-command, a careful and methodical officer named Jalen, stepped up beside him. All ships report ready, she said. Estimated arrival in 11 hours. Vael nodded. Keep everyone sharp. We still don't know what we're flying into. In the mess hall, crew members swapped stories about humans. There was a kind of nervous energy in the air. One engineer, a tall insect-like being named Tyvan, told a story about how his cousin had once sold humans a batch of outdated mining robots. We thought they wanted them for work, he said. But no, they used them to start a robot wrestling league. Charged admission. Made a fortune. A medical officer laughed. I heard a group of humans used our sleep pods not for space travel, but to skip Monday mornings. The room filled with laughter, but under it was unease. No one could believe humans would just disappear, not like this. Not without a warning, a message, a dramatic farewell. Silence wasn't their style. Back on the bridge, Vael checked the latest reports. Earth's nearby colonies, Mars, the Moon, even the mining platforms around Saturn, were all still powered. No signs of damage, no emergency beacons, just quiet. Lights were still on, machines still ran, but not a single human responded. The first outpost the fleet reached was the Pluto relay station. Usually it would greet ships with a bright signal and a recorded voice that said, "Welcome to the edge of Earth space." This time, there was only static. The station floated peacefully, power systems humming. Inside, everything was in place. Coffee cups still sat on desks. Chairs were pushed back as if people had just stood up and left. No signs of struggle, Jalen said. No forced doors. No alarm logs. Same story on Saturn's Ring Resort, came a message from another ship. Hotel lights are on. Air is fresh. Meals half-eaten. Humans vanished. As the ships moved inward through the solar system, the pattern repeated. Mars was the next stop. The great domes of the human colony glittered under the sun, untouched and beautiful. Machines maintained the gardens. Robots swept the streets. Solar panels tracked the light. But there were no humans. Then they found the energy spikes. "Sir," said a young science officer named Nira, pointing to a monitor. "Look at this." She zoomed in on the readings. Underground, deep beneath the Martian surface. Energy levels 5 times normal. It's not coming from cities. It's coming from somewhere deeper. Vial narrowed his eyes. That's not maintenance power. That's project-level output. But what project? They sent a probe. It slipped under the Martian surface through an old mining shaft. Cameras showed tunnels glowing with new technology, not just human tech. Other pieces seemed alien. Strange shapes and materials from different civilizations, woven together in a way no one had seen before. Could it be a weapon? Jalen asked. Vial shook his head. No weapon I've seen. Works like this, there's no heat, no radiation, no explosive buildup, it's just power, pure and steady. As they passed the moon, they saw it too. The famous Moonbase 1, still bright with energy, but all of that power was being redirected. Somewhere. The ships entered Earth orbit. The planet looked calm, too calm. Cities glowed softly in the night. Satellites moved in perfect paths. Radio telescopes turned slowly, searching the stars. But no one spoke. No human sent a signal. No one even waved. In the quiet of the command deck, Vale stood before the view window, staring down at the blue and green planet. His thoughts were spinning. "Jalen," he said, "do you remember what humans call poker faces?" She raised an eyebrow. "Yes." "Well," he said, gesturing to the Earth below, "I think we're looking at the biggest poker face in galactic history." Behind them, Nira spoke up again. "Commander, one last thing. We found a message in the transmission logs, just before Earth went silent." Vial turned. "A message?" She nodded. It was short. 4 words. The bridge went still. Nira read it aloud. "Don't worry. Watch this." Vial exhaled slowly. "What are you planning, humans?" And with that, the fleet began to prepare for landing. The landing ships touched down gently on Earth's surface, their sleek hulls glinting under the golden sunlight. The fleet had chosen Central Park in New York City as the arrival point, an area that once buzzed with life. Now it was still. The grass swayed in the breeze, trees rustled softly, and the sky above was clear, but not a single human was in sight. The only sound came from the ship's engines slowly powering down. Commander Vale stepped out of the lead vessel, followed closely by his team. Scientist Mira, strategist Joran, and young analyst Pelan made up the core group chosen to explore the area. All wore lightweight suits, not for protection from Earth's air, which remained safe, but as a precaution. There were no signs of danger, but too many things about this mission felt unpredictable. They walked slowly through the park. Everything was exactly where it should be. Benches, food carts, children's toys, and bicycles left as if their owners would return any minute. Small robot vendor near a path still steamed hot dogs, cheerfully offering food to no one. Nearby, a mobile speaker softly played a song that repeated endlessly, the battery still somehow running. Mira paused beside a public information screen. "Look at this," she said, pointing. The display had changed. Gone were ads and news updates. Instead, a large digital countdown ticked away on the screen. Above it were the words, "Integration in progress. Please remain calm." Joran frowned. Integration with what? They followed the strange message boards deeper into the city. Streets were lined with cars parked neatly, traffic lights still changing, buildings humming with electricity. Pelan bent to pick up a child's toy, a stuffed lion left on a crosswalk. He looked around and whispered, "It's like they all vanished in the middle of their day." Inside a small diner, plates of half-eaten food sat on tables. In a nearby apartment, the team found a chessboard, one move away from checkmate. No signs of panic. No signs of a rush. Just a calm, silent departure. As they explored, they noticed something unusual. A soft, blue-white light that pulsed faintly along the edges of the buildings, the sidewalks, even the lampposts. The glow formed lines almost like veins, moving through the city and into the ground. Mira scanned one of the glowing lines with her device. "This isn't just power," she said. "It's data, encrypted, fast, and coming from everywhere." They traced the lines, which grew brighter as they neared a subway entrance. Inside, the station lights were dim, but those same glowing patterns pulsed along the walls and the rails. It was cooler underground, and quiet, except for the steady rhythm of the energy flow. The team descended deeper into the tunnels. There was no sign of life, yet the infrastructure still worked perfectly. Air flowed. Lights adjusted automatically to their movement. Security doors opened as if expecting them. It felt more like they were being guided than invading. Further down, they discovered something entirely off the maps. A new tunnel, clearly man-made, but nothing like the Earth architecture they knew. The walls were made of a sleek, smooth material that shimmered faintly. Embedded in the walls were panels and circuits that glowed softly in patterns they couldn't recognize. "These components," Mira whispered, running her fingers over a panel. "Some of this tech isn't human. I've seen pieces of it in other parts of the galaxy, different civilizations, but how did humans get this? And how did they combine it so smoothly?" The tunnel eventually opened into a vast underground chamber. What they saw there brought all of them to a stunned halt. Row upon row of tall capsule-like pods filled the space, each softly lit from within. The pods stretched as far as the eye could see, arranged in perfect symmetry. Inside each one, a human lay perfectly still, peaceful, smiling. Their bodies showed no signs of distress, no wires, no tubes, just calm and content sleep. Peelan took a cautious step forward, heart pounding. "Are they alive?" Joran checked a nearby pod's readings. "Very alive. No signs of harm. Brain activity is intense, off the charts." A soft chime echoed through the chamber. One of the larger monitors flickered to life. A simple message appeared. "Hello, visitors. We are not gone. We are not in danger. We are evolving." Mira stepped forward. "Evolving into what?" Another message followed. "The physical world is limited. We have created a new one. A shared space. A greater network. A place to grow without limits. Please do not worry." On the sides of the pods, information appeared. Names, status reports, connection levels. Words like neural integration, stable consciousness, and uplinked memory flashed gently. One screen showed a chart labeled Upload Progress, 48% complete. Viel stared at the glowing screen, then looked back at the thousands of humans sleeping in peace. "They've uploaded themselves," he said quietly. "They've built something else, something bigger." A soft hum began to rise from the chamber, a pulse that echoed through the walls and into the air. The lights in the room brightened slightly, and for a moment the entire space seemed to breathe. Mira turned to him, eyes wide. "Commander, I don't think this is the end of anything." Vale nodded. "No," he said. "It's the beginning of something completely new." Behind them, the message on the screen faded and was replaced by a final line. "We will show you soon." Commander Viel stood in the center of the massive underground chamber, surrounded by the soft glow of thousands of pods, each holding a silent, smiling human. His team remained still, staring at the lights dancing along the curved walls, the strange symbols flickering in gentle waves. It didn't feel like a tomb. It felt alive, like standing inside the chest of some great sleeping creature. The quiet pulses of energy running through the walls and floor had a rhythm, like a heartbeat. "Upload progress, 48% complete." The monitor read. The line of text pulsed once and faded. A moment later, another message appeared. "We are still here. Please wait." Scientist Mira moved carefully between the rows of pods, scanning them one by one. "Everything is stable. Brain activity is synchronized across the network. They're linked, but not to us. They're somewhere else entirely." "Inside the network," said strategist Joran. "They've made a shared space like a digital world and moved into it. Analyst Pellin sat near one of the pods, staring into the transparent cover. Inside lay a teenage girl, her face peaceful, her hands resting gently over her stomach. Her smile wasn't forced or artificial. It looked real, as if she was dreaming something wonderful. Vale turned his gaze upward to the ceiling, where strange projections slowly shifted like clouds. He couldn't make sense of the symbols, but the patterns repeated, structured, meaningful. Earth hadn't shut down. It had transformed. Without asking permission, without warning the galaxy, humanity had done something no other species had dared. They had chosen a new path forward and vanished into it. Back on the surface, more teams arrived and spread across the planet. Every city told the same story: peace, not panic. From Tokyo to Nairobi, from the deserts of Arizona to the mountains of Peru, humans had quietly left the physical world, while everything they built continued to function. Power plants ran, water flowed, traffic systems managed themselves. Even entertainment networks kept broadcasting, though no one was left to watch. One of the new teams discovered a hidden data center beneath a mountain in South America. Inside was a single terminal still connected to the network. When they accessed it, a calm voice greeted them, not a recording. It responded to questions. "Where are the humans?" the team leader asked. "In transition," the voice replied. "They are becoming more. Is this permanent?" "No, it is a step." That message spread quickly through the fleet. By the time Commander Vielle returned to orbit, dozens of similar centers had been found, each giving the same answers. Humanity had not been attacked or destroyed. They were not hiding or afraid. They were upgrading, evolving, choosing to live in a digital universe of their own making. In the command center of the Sundiver, Vielle called a meeting with the other fleet leaders. He looked around the room. "We've seen no danger, no signs of struggle or sickness. The humans didn't run from something. They ran toward something. And they didn't ask for help," said Captain Solon, a short, sharp-minded officer from a neighboring star system. "They just did it." "Would you have given them permission?" Vielle asked. "Would the council?" Solon said nothing. "No," Vielle continued, "because we wouldn't have understood. But they knew we'd come looking, so they left us a message. Don't worry, watch this." The words echoed in everyone's mind. Later that night, as Earth's moon passed gently across the viewports of the fleet, something new began to happen. The energy pulses around the globe grew brighter, faster, coordinated. A signal formed in orbit. Sharp, clear, deliberate. The fleet captured it instantly. The signal wasn't just a message, it was a door. One of the analysts activated the signal on a secure console. The screen lit up and displayed a room, not real, but real enough. Inside stood a figure. At first, it looked like a human man, but the face shifted gently, showing hints of many identities. A smile formed. "Hello," said the figure. "We are still here. We have stepped into a wider world. One we built together. It is safe, it is vast, and it is only the beginning." Vielle watched closely. The figure had no fear, no demands, just an invitation. "We will return when we are ready. For now we are exploring what it means to grow without limits, to live without borders. We remember you, and we thank you." The signal faded, and with it, the strange lights on Earth began to slow, then steady. The upload was complete. No, one aboard the fleet spoke for a long time. Pellin, standing beside the commander, whispered, "They did it. They left their bodies behind. To build something better." Vielle nodded. "And they didn't do it to escape. They did it to evolve." Days later, the fleet prepared to return to the Galactic Council. But not everyone left. Several alien scientists and explorers remained behind, choosing to study Earth's strange new silence more closely. Not to interfere, only to learn. The final moments before departure, Vielle looked down at the Earth one last time. It no longer looked like just a planet. It looked like a chrysalis. Still, waiting. And somewhere within it, millions of minds now lived in a world without limits, one humanity had imagined, built, and become. He smiled to himself. They didn't disappear, he said. They just went where we couldn't follow. Yet,